The devastation of the events discussed in this video are astounding. In the world of ever-evolving technology, we often forget about the unseen threats lurking in the shadows. One such threat is an electromagnetic pulse, or EMP. It's a burst of electromagnetic radiation that can come from an intense solar activity or a nuclear explosion. Then there's the coronal mass ejection, or CME. These are massive bursts of gas and magnetic field released from the sun, and they can reach our planet, causing chaos. These phenomena have the potential to disrupt or even destroy our electronic devices and power grids. Now let's take a moment to consider the grim reality following an EMP attack. Experts suggest that in the aftermath of a significant EMP event, the survival rate could be as low as 10%, primarily due to the loss of essential services like water, healthcare, and food supply. It's a chilling statistic, one that underscores the seriousness of such an event. Imagine a world without power, without communication, without transportation. It's a sobering thought, isn't it? This is why it's crucial to be prepared for such events. So, how do you prepare for an event that could potentially leave you without power, communication, or transportation? First, it's vital to understand what EMP and CME are and how they can impact our lives. EMP, or electromagnetic pulse, is a burst of electromagnetic energy. It can come from a variety of sources, but for our purposes, we're most concerned with the kind generated by a nuclear explosion or a solar flare. When this pulse hits, it can cause significant damage to electrical and electronic systems. Imagine, if you will, a world without electricity. No lights, no internet, no heating or cooling systems. A world plunged into darkness. Now let's talk about CME, or coronal mass ejection. This is a large expulsion of plasma and magnetic field from the sun's corona. When these solar particles hit the Earth's magnetic field, they can cause geomagnetic storms. These storms can disrupt our power grids, our communication systems, and our satellites. To give you an idea of what this looks like in real life, let's take a trip back in time to 1989. A powerful CME hit the Earth and caused a massive blackout in Quebec, Canada. For 9 hours, millions of people were left without power, in the middle of winter. This is just one example of what can happen when a CME strikes. While EMPs and CMEs might sound like something out of a science fiction novel, they are very real threats. They can disrupt our way of life, causing chaos and confusion. The effects can be widespread, lasting for days, weeks, or even months. They can impact everything from our daily routines to our national security. But here's the thing. While we can't prevent these events from happening, we can prepare for them. We can take steps to protect ourselves and our assets. We can develop strategies to survive and thrive in a post-EMP or post-CME world. Now that we understand the threat, let's explore how to protect ourselves and our assets. When preparing for an EMP or CME, focus on the essentials: water, food, shelter, and heat. First off, let's talk about water. It's the lifeblood of our existence, isn't it? In the event of an EMP or CME, your regular water supply may be disrupted. So, how do you secure a source of clean water? One option is to store bottled water, enough to last for at least 2 weeks. But you can't store water indefinitely, can you? This is where water purification methods come into play. Consider investing in water filters or purification tablets. Learning how to collect rainwater or purify water from a stream would also be beneficial. See the linked video for more details on how to be prepared for other shtf scenarios. Next up is food. The key here is to have a stash of non-perishable items that can sustain you for a while. Think canned goods, dried foods, and energy bars. Growing your own food is also an excellent idea. Start a vegetable garden, learn how to forage, or even keep a few chickens if you can. It's not just about surviving, it's about thriving, right? Now let's talk about shelter. Your home is the obvious choice, but an EMP or CME could compromise its safety with respect to you and your loved ones succumbing to the elements without heating. So you'll need to ensure it's insulated and secure. If you're handy, you might want to consider building a Faraday cage to protect your electronics. If not, there are plenty of ready-made options available. Last but not least, we have heat. In a world without electricity, traditional heating methods won't work. So you'll need alternative ways to keep warm. This could mean stockpiling firewood, investing in a wood-burning stove, or learning how to make a fire from scratch. These are the basics. But survival is more than just fulfilling basic needs. It's also about communication and navigation. So stay tuned as we delve into how to stay connected and navigate your way through a post-EMP or CME world. In a world without electricity, how do you communicate or find your way around? This question may seem daunting, but with a little preparation and knowledge, we can tackle it head-on. Firstly, let's talk about communication. In a post-electricity scenario, we'd have to go back to basics. Ham radios or amateur radios can be an excellent resource. These devices operate on radio frequencies and are popular among survivalists for their reliability. They can be powered by batteries or even hand-cranked mechanisms, making them ideal for a world without a power grid. They allow you to send and receive messages over long distances, and with the right equipment, even across continents. Therefore, learning how to operate a ham radio can be a valuable skill. But what about navigation? In the age of GPS and Google Maps, many of us have forgotten the art of reading a physical map and using a compass. These tools do not rely on electricity, and they can be your best friends when technology fails. Compasses work by aligning themselves with Earth's magnetic fields, providing you with cardinal directions. Maps, on the other hand, give you a bird's-eye view of the terrain, helping you plan your route and identify landmarks. It's crucial to familiarize yourself with the symbols and scales used in maps to make the most of this tool. Moreover, it's worth noting that successful navigation is more than just using a compass and a map. It's about observing your surroundings, recognizing landmarks, and understanding the movement of celestial bodies. It's about developing a sense of direction and a feel for the land. So take some time to learn and practice these skills. You never know when they might come in handy. In conclusion, going off the grid doesn't have to be a scary prospect. With the right tools and skills, such as ham radios for communication and compasses for navigation, you can thrive in a world without electricity. Mastering these skills will give you a significant advantage in a post-EMP or CME world. What about your electronic devices? Can they be saved? You might be thinking, in the event of an EMP or CME, what happens to all our electronic gadgets? Well, there's good news. Our devices aren't necessarily doomed. There's a way to protect them, and it's been around for a long time. Enter the Faraday cage. Named after the scientist Michael Faraday, who invented it back in the 1800s, a Faraday cage is a shield that protects its contents from electric fields. Essentially, it's a box made of a conductive material that prevents electromagnetic fields from penetrating its walls. This means that any electronics stored inside won't be affected by an EMP or CME. Now you might be picturing a large metal cage, but a Faraday cage can be as simple or as complex as you make it. Some people use metal trash cans or old ammo boxes. Others prefer to build their own out of materials like aluminum foil or copper mesh. For a DIY Faraday cage, you'll need a box, some sort of conductive material, and an insulator. Start by lining the inside of the box with your chosen insulator. This could be cardboard, plastic, or even cloth. Then, wrap the outside of the box in your conductive material. Make sure that the conductive layer is continuous, with no gaps or breaks. This is crucial for the cage's effectiveness. Once you've built your cage, you can test it out by putting a radio inside and tuning it to a station. If you can't hear anything, congratulations! Your Faraday cage is working. Keep in mind, though, that a Faraday cage isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. Different devices require different levels of protection, so you might need to build more than one cage or use different materials. Remember, preparation is key. The more prepared you are, the better your chances of survival. An EMP or CME could strike at any moment, and the impact could be devastating. We've spent the last few minutes discussing these unseen threats and how to prepare for them. We've learned about the nature of electromagnetic pulses and coronal mass ejections, understanding that these are not mere science fiction, but real phenomena that could disrupt our way of life. Securing our basic needs in such an event is crucial. From food, water, to shelter, we've explored how to ensure these essentials are met, even when the grid goes down. We've also delved into the importance of survival skills, from fire making to foraging, skills that could make all the difference in a post-EMP or CME world. We've also talked about protecting our electronic devices, understanding that not all is lost if we take the right precautions. Faraday cages and other protective measures can shield our devices from these destructive pulses. By taking these steps, you increase your chances of not just surviving, but thriving in a post-EMP or CME world. The best way to see what life would be like, and what you need to do to prepare, would be to turn off your house power for as long as you can handle. You'll soon have a pretty clear understanding on what you need to do to be better prepared for an MP or CME event. Remember, the best time to prepare is now. Don't forget to like and subscribe.